Hello everyone, my name's Tanya from Nana's Crafty Home, and I am here with Annie's today for another block party crochet along. So I am really excited to get started on today's block, but I always come in for a few minutes because I want to say hi to everyone as you pop in for the video. Always like to chat before we get started on our tutorial. If you're new, if this is the first time that you've watched one of these, I'm going to be working through a block or square from start to finish. I'll show it here in just a minute. It's a fun little square. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And I do have a description in the video for you if you'd like to print the written instructions. Hi everybody. Wow, we've got a lot of people popping on already. I am so excited. If you were here last month, we had a few technical difficulties, so I'm hoping that this month we're going to be a little bit better on that. So I'm excited to be here. We're going to be working through the cotton candy square today. Hi, Bonnie. Tina, hello. We've got a big weekend coming up in the States, a 3-day weekend for us. So I'm excited that my husband's going to be home on Monday, and we've got a little bit nicer weather coming up our way, a little bit cooler. So I'm excited about that. Let me know where you're from, and I would love to hear a little bit about you. I love it when you guys interact, ask questions. I will always try to go back and answer them. Annie's is here as well, so if you have any questions about anything, just pop that in the chat. And we are happy to help however we can. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Hi from Oregon. We've got Sharon, Terry, lots of people. Nebraska, North Carolina. Amy, hi. Welcome. Hi from Sydney, Australia. Trudy, welcome. Linda. Diane's Crafts, hello from Alabama. Thanks so much for being with us today. We're really excited about today's block. Hamilton, Montana, Joy. Hi, this is your first time here. I'm excited to have you here. You're going to have to give us some feedback and let me know how I do since this is your first time watching. This is actually my third block I'm working through for Annie's. I did one in July and August. We do this every month, the first Friday of every month. And I'm excited about next month's square too. I think you guys are going to like it as well. But we're going to focus on today. We're probably getting close to time to start. Yep. So I'm going to start telling you the details about today's square. So as I mentioned before, today is going to be the cotton candy square in 2 colors. Isn't that pretty? I just love the openness. It's so feminine and dainty, yet it's enough that you could use this for a dishcloth, even a pot holder trivet. Of course, it can be made into a lot of different things. We've talked about this before. Squares are so versatile. And again, if you want to download the free written pattern instructions, there is a link in the description of the video. And if you've never done that before, you will need to register, but it is free to register. Just use your email to register. So this is going to be a really fun square for us to work on today. I am going to be using the same yarn that I used for that sample, and that is going to be Paint Box Yarns in Cotton Aran, and I'm using blush pink and lipstick pink. Aren't those fun colors? Wouldn't it be fun to pick names for yarn? I think that would just be fun. So let's see. We have questions. It looks like Annie's taking care of a lot of these questions, so I'm so glad. I'm going to also be using a size H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, which is my favorite size, which is weird, I know, but there it is. And here are the written instructions. Now, the picture on the download is going to look a little bit different than your finished square. They're going to be updating that to this. We had the wrong picture, but they're going to be updating that as well. So if it looks a little different than my square, it should. But the the picture on the page where you will download is correct. So just want to give that little bit of a housekeeping notice if you think, why in the world does that square look different? So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put my instructions where I can see them. And I'm going to move my camera. You're going to see my ceiling here for a minute. Sorry about that. Well, let's see. There we go. And we're going to get all situated, get a little bit of light on the subject here. Make sure that you guys can all see what I'm doing. And we're going to get started with color A, and I'm using the blush pink for color A, and I'm going to start with a slip knot and get my yarn on my hook. And again, any questions at all, drop them in the chat and we are happy to help. So with color A, I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to slip stitch to that first chain to form a ring. Get that out of my way. And chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. That chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet in every round. So every time I do a chain 3 at the beginning of a round, it will count as my first double crochet. I'm going to work 3 double crochets into this ring. So this ring that I made with that slip stitch and those chains, I'm going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that is my first 4 double crochet group. I'm going to be working a total of 8 4 double crochet groups into that ring. That is going to be a lot of double crochets worked into that ring, but don't worry, they will all fit. So then I'm going to chain 2 and now work 4 double crochets in that ring and chain 2 again. So I'm going to do that a total of 7 times more. So I'll have a total of 8 groups as I talked about before. So there's 3 double crochets, 4 double crochets, and chain 2, 4 double crochets, chain 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2. And you can see that I'm kind of pulling those down as I'm working them because I know that I'm going to be working a lot of double crochets in this loop and want to have enough room. I don't want to be all squished over here. So as I'm working them, I'm pulling them down tightly and squishing them all together. So another group of 4 double crochets. There's 3, there's 4, chain 2, pull that down, and it's going to look frilly this first round. That's okay. Our next 4 double crochet group, and then chain 2, another 4 double crochet group, 1, 2, 3, 4, and chain 2, pull that down. So I have a total so far of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more groups of 4 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and then one last group of 4 double crochets. And you can see how that is a lot of double crochets in that loop. and it was a good thing that I pulled those down there. Chain 2 at the end, and I'm going to double check just to make sure that I have my 8 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you can see it looks kind of crazy right now, but that's okay. And then to finish this round, I'm going to slip stitch join in the 3rd chain of that beginning chain 3. So at the top of that chain 3 that I made at the beginning of the round, I'm going to slip stitch join to finish. And I'm going to fasten off color A. Now, I'm going to come back here to my comments, see if you guys have had any questions that I need to address. Watching from the Philippines. Wow, welcome. I'm so glad that you're all here. I don't see any questions that I need to address, so that's great. So we're going to bring in color B, which is that fun lipstick pink color. And I'm going to be joining color B in any one of those chain 2 spaces. So I'm going to get that slip knot, yarn on my hook. So it doesn't matter any place that I want to join. So I'm just going to pick a chain 2 space. And join in that chain 2 space. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to, in that same space, work 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. And remember that chain 3 at the beginning, as I mentioned before, will count as my first double crochet of a group. So 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets, all worked in that same chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1. And I'm going to be repeating that in every chain 2 space around. But I'm going to be working 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and 3 double crochets. So in that next chain 2 space, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets. And they are kind of tight in that chain 2 space, but that's okay, they'll fit. So 3 more, 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. And repeat that. 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets in that next chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Any questions at all about what we're doing here? We're just repeating around that 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet in each chain 2 space. Any ideas what you want to make with this square that we're doing today? Are you thinking about a blanket, a scarf, a pot holder, or a dishcloth? Any ideas what you're thinking? That, and then chain 1, and then 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets, in that next chain 2 space, chain 1, repeating again. I think this would make a lovely blanket, honestly, or even a fun market bag, since it's a little more open, kind of a summery pattern a little bit. So 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Chain 1. And now you can see here I have one more chain space to work in. So 3 double crochets. And sorry about the wobbliness there. I keep smacking my video tripod. Chain 3. 3 double crochets in that same space. 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1. And at the end, to finish that off, I'm going to join in that 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3 that I made at the beginning of this round. And I'm going to fasten off for that round. And you can see things are a little bit wonky, but that's okay. That's gonna work its way out here in a little bit. So fasten off, and we're ready for round 3. Any questions about where we're at with this square? Any questions at all? I think we're doing great. Good. So now we're going to switch back to our color A by getting our slip knot on our hook, back to that blush pink. And we're going to join color A in any chain 1 space. So the chain 1 spaces were between these clusters of 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and then I worked a chain 1 in between. So I'm going to be joining in a chain 1 space, chaining 1, single crocheting in that same space. Then I'm going to work 9 double crochets in that next chain 3 space. So this chain 3 space right here, I'm going to be working 9 total double crochets. So that's a lot of double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you'll notice that when I was working those 9 double crochets, it's a little tight. So as I'm working them, I'm pulling them down. I'll show you here when I do another one here in a minute. So I've worked 9 double crochets in that chain 3 space. I'm going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So in that chain 1 space, a single crochet, and then 9 double crochets in that next chain 3 space. So we're just going to be repeating that all the way around. 9 double crochets in each chain 3 and a single crochet in each chain 1 space. So as I'm working these 9 double crochets in this chain 3 space, I'm pulling them down as I'm working them because it is a little tight to fit 9 double crochets in that chain 3 space. So I'm just pulling down just slightly so that I can fit them in easily. Now I've lost track of how many I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in that next chain 1 space. 9 double crochets in that next chain 3, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in that chain 1 space. 9 double crochets in the next chain 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull down a little bit, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I want to make sure if we have any questions that we're catching anybody. Looks like we're doing good here. That's great. Single crochet in that next chain 1 space. You can see how it's starting to shape up too here. We're creating these clusters of 9, which is making that a little less wonky, as my favorite word. When I'm working some of these squares, they just at the beginning can have a lot of double crochets and they won't lie flat. So that's fine because they'll work out as we finish out our square. And then 9 double crochets in that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in that next chain 1. 9 double crochets in that next chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in that next chain 1 space. 9 double crochets in that next chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm thinking that I'm going to have to switch over my yarn. I was hoping I was going to have enough from that last skein, but I'm going to have to switch over here because I'm running out. I'm playing yarn chicken and I'm losing. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in that next, and yes, I'm definitely losing my game of yarn chicken here. So I had another skein just for that in case. So what I might do with this next group of 9 is start my first double crochet and then bring in more ends to weave in. Oh well. So I made my first double crochet, 2, 3. It's funny how you just don't want to break into that next skein, you know, you're like, oh, I can do it, I can do it. So there's 3, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I've worked 9 in that last chain 3 space, and I'm going to join in that first single crochet stitch that we made from the beginning. So I'm going to slip stitch join, and I'm going to be fastening off color A. And I think we had a question here, so I'm going to go back and take a look at that before we move on to round 4. So look how that's shaping up here. See how it's lying a lot more flat than it did after round 2. So things are starting to take shape a little bit better. So let's see, I think I had, when you do a lot of stitches in a chain space, you have to be sure that the last couple of stitches don't overlap each. Yes, and they stay the same size as the ones before them. Yes, so I do, you tend to slow down at that end because you don't want your stitches at the end, because it is so tight in those chain 3s with 9 double crochets in there. You want all of your stitches to look the same from beginning to end. And so by pulling them down and slowing down, you are going to be able to get more consistency in your stitches. That is such a great point. Thank you so much for pointing that out. So now we're ready to move on to round 4, and we're going to be bringing back in color B, that lipstick pink, and I'm going to be working that slip knot, getting my yarn on my hook, and I'm going to join color B in the 5th double crochet of any 9 double crochet group. So here's my 9 double crochet group, and it doesn't matter which one I choose. I'm going to join in the 5th one. So I'm going to count over. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is my 5th double crochet of that group, and I'm going to join at the top. I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in that same double crochet. So that same stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet. Chain 2, double crochet in the next single crochet. So I'm going to skip over these next double crochets, and I'm going to work a double crochet in the top of that single crochet stitch. Chain 2, work a single crochet in the 5th double crochet of the next 9 double crochet groups. So again, I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the top of that 5th double crochet, I'm going to work a single crochet. So I want to make sure that part makes sense to everybody. Do we have any questions at all about how that is done? I think we're doing okay. So after that single crochet, I'm going to chain 2, and in my next single crochet, so again down here, I'm going to be working 3 trebles, a chain 3, and 3 trebles, all in that same stitch. And a treble is yarning over my hook twice, inserting my hook into that single crochet, yarning over and pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. And I'm going to work 3 trebles, a chain 3, and 3 more trebles, all in that same stitch. So there's my second treble, yarning over twice, inserting into that same single crochet stitch. There's my third, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, 3 trebles again into that same stitch, yarning over twice, inserting into that same stitch, working a treble, yarning over twice, same stitch. There's number 2, and there's number 3. So let's take a look at that. So I started out this round by working a single crochet at the top of that 5th double crochet in that group, chain 2, double crochet in that next single crochet, chain 2, single crochet at the top of that in that 5th double crochet of that group, chaining 2, and worked 3 trebles, a chain 3, and 3 trebles in that next single crochet. This creates that corner for the square. After that corner is made, I'm going to chain 2, oops, lose my hook, chain 2 and single crochet in the 5th double crochet of the next 9 double crochet group. So counting over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, single crochet in the top, chaining 2, double crochet in the top of that next single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the top of that 5th double crochet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chaining 2, and then in that next single crochet, I'm going to be working 3 trebles, a chain 3, and 3 trebles again in that next. So I'm going to have 4 corners for this square. So my first treble, there's number 2, number 3, so chaining 3 and 3 more trebles, all in that same stitch. Chaining 2, single crochet in that 5th double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chain 2, double crochet in that next single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in that 5th double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chain 2, 3 trebles, chain 3 and 3 trebles in that next single crochet stitch. So there's treble 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and 3 trebles in that same stitch. Do you like working treble stitches? I don't use them often except in situations like this, or I tend to not use them very often because they're so leggy. They have a lot of gap to them, but they work great in situations like this where you're trying to square off a round, make it squared. So that works great to do that. Single crochet at the top of that 5th double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I think I missed one. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chaining 2, double crochet in that next single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the 5th double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, chaining 2. And so you can see where we're at with this square, and it's squaring off quite nicely at this point. So I've worked 3 corners. I have 1 last corner to work for this round. So in this single crochet, 3 more trebles, chain 3, and 3 trebles. Oops. chaining 3, and work our last 3 trebles in that same stitch. And I've completed that last corner, and I'm going to chain 2 and join in that first single crochet at the beginning of the round. I'm going to slip stitch join. So let's take a look at that. See how that really squared that off. Get those ends out of the way there. So that really made a huge difference that round, didn't it? Completely changed the look of this square. I hope you guys are all enjoying working on yours. Are you working on it as we're working on it together, or are you just watching the video and gonna make it later? I would love to hear about that. If you like to work from videos, let me know. So there's a chain 1 for round 5. We did not, you'll notice, switch colors. I'll be using color B now throughout the rest of this square. So I have 2 more rounds to go, and I'll be using this color B for the rest of it. For round 5, chain 1, single crochet in the top of that same stitch. So that same single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochets in the next chain 2 space. Single crochet in the next double crochet stitch. 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space. Single crochet in that stitch, the single crochet stitch from the previous round. 2 single crochets in that next chain 2 space. I'm going to be now working a half double crochet in the next treble stitches. So 1 half double crochet in each of these next treble stitches. So a half double crochet is yarning over, inserting my hook, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and then yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops. So half double crochet in each of those stitches. And I lost my place in my pattern. And in my corner space, my chain 3 corner space, I'm going to work 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, chaining 2, and then 3 double crochets, all worked in that same chain space. So 1, 2, and 3. So that is a double crochet corner made. So that's my first corner for this round. Half double crochet in those next 3 stitches. And this will complete, this round will complete that squaring off for this square by working those taller stitches in the corner and then single crochets throughout the rest. That's what creates that square shape. So in that chain 2 space, work 2 single crochets, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, that double crochet from the previous round, 2 single crochets in that next chain 2 space, single crochet in the top of that single crochet, 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, and I'm at that corner again, so half double crochet in those next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3 half double crochets, and in my corner again, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 double crochets all worked in that chain space to make that corner. Half double crochet in those next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3. And we're going to be repeating that same sequence around. 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that next chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that next chain 2 space. We're at the corner again, half double crochet in those next 3 stitches. And in the corner, again, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all worked in that same space. Half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Two single crochets in that next chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that next chain 2 space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that next chain space, single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in that next chain space, and we're back to the corner, half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Work our double crochet corner, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. I think I split my yarn there. Chain 2, 3 double crochets. I'm afraid I'm going to be playing yarn chicken with this yarn too. Half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. I might have better luck with this one though, so we'll see. You can see we're back to the beginning of this round, and I did split that stitch. But I have my last chain 2 space, so I'm going to work 2 single crochets in that last chain 2 space, and then I'm going to join to that first single crochet to complete the round. Let's take a look. And you see how it really finished off squaring that square. That really made a huge difference on how it's lying flat now, and it looks much more like a square. Oh, Christy, wow, thank you so much. You've wanted to make an Afghan square. It looks doable. Well, that's great, because I think that this is definitely doable. This square is great too, because we utilize single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and treble. So this is a great square to practice all of those stitches. So I hope if you have good luck, let me know. I would love to see it too. All right, so we're ready to move on to round 6, which is our last round. Can you believe it? Okay, so chain 1 and then single crochet in that same stitch, that single crochet stitch. and then the next 14 stitches. And that's going to get us to this corner. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're just finishing off this square with this last round. It's tightening the square a little bit, giving it a little bit more of a professional finish. So all we're going to be doing is working a single crochet in every stitch, and then in each corner, chain 2 space, I'm going to work 3 single crochets. So this is a fun round because I don't really have to count. You can if you want to make sure, but really we're just working a single crochet in every stitch around, and then working 3 single crochets in each corner to finish off this square. So this is a great time for you guys to let me know what you think about this tutorial. Let Annie's know if you enjoy these tutorials and us coming on here and working through squares. I know I really enjoy coming here and doing this. Had never done tutorials live before. All of my videos are pre-recorded and edited, and so I always get so nervous before these for some reason, and I think it's just because, you know, you just don't know, you know, if I mess up, and I can't edit it out. I'm kind of a perfectionist. So these are always kind of nerve-wracking for me, I guess, but it's getting a little bit easier for me each time, and you are all so great and supportive, and I really appreciate that. But let me know if you have any suggestions, camera angles, or anything like that. I'm hoping to get some new equipment in, so that way I can give you the best possible tutorial every time I come on here and show a square. And I love to teach, so this is what I love to do. It's one of my favorite things about being a crochet pattern designer. So you can see that I've worked a single crochet in every stitch, and now I'm at that corner, and I want to make 3 single crochets in that corner, and then single crochets in every stitch. And this one was great because so far we haven't had any technical difficulties like we did last month. Sometimes you're just at the mercy, you know, you just have to go with the flow and just laugh about it later, because you just don't have any control over some of that, no matter how much you might want to. I'd love to hear more about you all as crocheters too. Do you consider yourselves beginner, intermediate, more advanced? Do you like beginner patterns? You know, and ask what kind of patterns you'd like to see. You know, let us know what you're looking for as far as tutorials and patterns. I know right now, you know, as a designer, having my own website, I'm really immersed in, you know, Christmas. It's like Christmas in September at my house. You know, I used to be that person that would complain all the time when I would go to the craft stores in July and see Christmas stuff. And now I'm that person who complains because the Christmas stuff isn't out yet, because I need supplies for my my Christmas project in August. Oh, goodness gracious. So, you know, designer problems, I guess. But yeah, we would love to hear more about what you want to see, because it's all about you. And that's why we're here, is to help you become better crocheters and make the things that you want to see. Brand new crocheter. Oh, I love it. Brand new crocheter. That, I love to hear that. You know, having crocheted for 40 years now, I'm dating myself, but having crocheted for that long, golly, when I was a kid, nobody I knew crocheted. And there weren't very many places to really go to learn how to crochet. It's not like it is now where, you know, we have so many great YouTube, videos and websites dedicated to it. Annie's, of course, has been around forever. And my Aunt Dorothy, who actually taught me how to crochet, she was a subscriber to Annie's all those years ago. She kept every single one of those magazines, and I remember how much fun going through all of those was for me as a kid, picking things to make. And she would be, if she were still here, I wish she were still here so that she could see me on Annie's Facebook page crocheting through a block. She would be so thrilled. So this is a real honor for me. So it looks like we've made it back to the beginning here. I've worked a single crochet in all these stitches, working 3 single crochets in each corner. And now I'm at the back to the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch join to that first stitch to finish off. We can fasten off. And take a look at our square. See how that just tightened the square up just slightly to really give it a more professional look. I do recommend that you block it. It does have a much nicer look. You can see the difference. I blocked this one before I took photos, and it blocked up really nicely. But I mean, that's completely optional and not necessary, but I do recommend it. So anyway, let me move this back to where I can visit you guys face to face here for our last few minutes together. I hope you enjoyed. Nobody needs that much light on, right? I hope you guys enjoyed all of this. So we have a question: when combining blocks from different patterns or when making my own patterns, how about some tips to get them the same size when the required pattern for each block makes them different sizes, i.e. added border rows, change yarn weight, change the tension of stitches? I've done all of these. Is there a best practice? Well, I don't know that there's really like any right way to do that. There's no one way. And with most things in crochet, I like to think that any way that works for you is what is going and looks the best is going to work. So you could certainly add more rounds to a square to get it to the same size as another square. You could work your tension and your gauge so that, changing hook size so that another square would be larger and be closer. That's going to change how you join, because of course, if you have more stitches on one square than you do another, you're going to have to adjust for that as you're joining. So if you're doing a mattress seam join where you're sewing, going back and forth with your V-stitches using that mattress seam, you're going to have more stitches on one side. So you're going to need to make some adjustments as you're sewing it together. Same thing with a slip stitch join. So you might have to skip on the square that has more stitches around. You might have to skip like every fourth as you're joining. But there are all kinds of ways that you can do that. And all of the ways that you mentioned would be possibilities. So I guess for me, I would recommend whatever works for you. Any of those ways are certainly possible. So, and I don't know if you guys have any ideas, anyone have any suggestions as well for how to do that, put that on here as well. So let's see if we have any other questions. How to block. Okay. I don't know if Annie's may have a tutorial for this. I do a wet block with a lot of my projects. And so basically that's going to be, I have a foam pad and some stainless steel pins, and I block it out to where it's equal measurements on each side. And I pin it to my foam mat, and then I spray it with water and I let it dry. So very simple. I don't know if Annie's has a tutorial, but if they do, they can put that on here as a link as well for you. So I hope that I see another question about blocking. So I hope that that answered your question, but blocking is basically just opening your stitches up, giving it that more professional look by pinning it and giving it even dimensions on every side. So blocking is not always the most favorite thing for most people, but yeah, it's necessary to get that best appearance at the end. So let's see, let me go back. I think self-taught and advanced and been crocheting for 64 years. Linda, wow, that's awesome. And thank you. You're so sweet. Well, I will be back next month. So October 1st will be the Cat's Meow Square. It's not quite ready yet for download, but be on the lookout for that. And I will be working on that this month to have a sample, and then you'll be able to download and print that pattern as we work through it on October 1st. Noon Eastern time. So I will be back in a month, and I hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial today. I really appreciate all of your support, all of you being here. It's so much fun to do these, and I will see you next month. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.